Hello and welcome back to our C programming course. From this video, we are going to start the section 3 of our C programming course. In the previous two sections, in the section 1, we covered the concepts of number systems, and in the section 2, we covered the basic concepts of basic terminology. We introduced the basic terminology of C programming language, which includes variable, the concept of a variable, data type, qualifier, operators. We have discussed all the operators that are there in the C programming language, and we have understood the concept of expressions. Now in this section, in the third section, we will completely cover the concepts of printf and scanf, the input and output functions. So in the section 2, we had a basic introduction to the concept of printf function. In that video, we have discussed about the principle of program. So there we have said that every program will have an input, and the inputs that are provided to that program, based upon the inputs, the processing is done and it is going to produce an output. So in order to provide the inputs and in order to display the content onto the screen, means output the content onto the screen, every programming language will have some input and output functions. So in the same way, C programming language is also having some input and output functions. So for output function, we have seen this printf function. For input, we have another function called scanf. So in this section, we are going to cover both of these functions in a very formal and very detailed way. Let's get started with the concept of printf function. So as we had an introduction to this concept, anyway, we are going to understand these concepts in a very formal way. And we have discussed that every printf function is going to have, a function is going to have parameter. Printf function is going to have the first printf function, the parameter in the printf function is enclosed in these double quotes. It is what we call it as format string. Whatever that is present in this format string, only that content will get displayed onto the output screen. So just recap those concepts. Whatever that is present in this double quotes, only that part will get printed onto the screen. So this, whatever that is present within this double quotes, is what we call it as format string. Okay. So now, so this is how, if you want to display a string or a text onto the output screen, so this is sufficient. So this is how the strings will get displayed on the screen. Now what if we want to print the values of a variable? For example, in this string, you want to display the content of a variable. How we can do that? So for that, we will try to understand our second example. So this is our second example. Now here we are having three variables, a is equal to 10, b is equal to 5, and c. All these three are of type integers. And now we have done simple mathematical calculation, a plus b, and we have assigned it to c. Now what I want to print is, I want to print that the sum of a and b is c. That is what I want to print, means the sum of 10 and 15 is 20. I want to print that exact string. So how can I do that? So this is very important point to understand. So in your programming, while writing your programs, there is a need for you to display the content of the variable. So in such cases, how can we do that? So that is what this printf statement is stating. So the first parameter, so there are four parameters within this function. So the first one is the format string, and this is our second parameter, third parameter, and fourth parameter. So what does this format string consist of, so that we got these other parameters? So that we will try to understand, and we will try to understand very slowly. Okay. So this format string consists of these characters. So what does this states is the sum of percentage d. What is this percentage d? So we have discussed that these are what we call it as, so these are the placeholders for the values of a variable. So the sum of percentage d and percentage d is percentage d. Means, so these are the placeholders, and I am reserving this place. So placeholders means, so this is where I am reserving some space. This place is reserved for what? This place is reserved for an integer. Percentage D is what we call it as format specifier. So in this format string, we are having three format specifiers, percentage D and percentage D is percentage D. Means all these three are the placeholders. So this is second placeholder, this is our third placeholder. In all these three placeholders, we are expecting integers. If you are expecting integers to be occupied in that particular space, in that particular placeholder, then we have to provide the format string that we are going to use is percentage D. Try to understand this. Okay, what if we want to print a floating point number or a decimal number? So then we have percentage F. So these are the format specifiers that we have. These are very few format specifiers and very basic format specifiers, but there are so many format specifiers available in C programming language. As and when the context comes, we will discuss about that format specifier. There is format S, percentage S, percentage P. So there are many format specifiers. At this point of time, we will understand only these three basic format specifiers, which is percentage D is for integer, means if you want to display the content of a variable in the form of an integer. So this sentence is very important. If you want to display the content of a variable to be in the form of an integer, then we have to use this percentage D. And the next one is percentage F. If you want to display the content of a variable in the form of a floating point number or decimal number, so then we are going to use this percentage F. And percentage C is for character. Okay, now coming back to this printf example. So here I am expecting, so what value I am expecting, which variable's value I am expecting. So that is provided in this parameters, the other parameters of the printf function. So this is our first parameter. If starting from the second, third and fourth, this order is going to follow. So the first placeholder for a variable is going to have the variable A, and the second placeholder, in this place of percentage D, we are going to have the value of B, and in this place of placeholder, in this place, we are going to have the value of C. So the sequence will follow. Okay. So now what is the output that we are going to get on the screen? We are going to get the sum of 10 and 5 is 20. Okay. So this is how the printf function, this is the complete view of the printf function. So whenever we want to display the variables and also the content, the string embedded with the variables, so this is how we have to present it. So that's it about the printf function. We'll try to understand in more detail in our next video. We are going to see some programming samples and we'll try to understand the concept of printf in a very detailed way in our later coming classes. So that's it for this video and see you in the next video.